Alright, this will be video number 3 in this series. This is that 350 crate engine. There's video 1 and 2. There's a bunch of specs on this engine and everything. So in this video I was going to show the timing dots on this camshaft starting. I don't know if that can show up there, but you'll see that crank pin or the cam pin is at 9 o'clock versus 3 o'clock. That means that dot is 12 o'clock. And the dot on the crank obviously is at 12 o'clock. And something else I'm going to do here. This engine already fired us up and ran it because I'll tell you right now, this carburetor right here was just a spare that's sitting on a shelf. We weren't sure if it was going to work, so I had to make sure it was going to work. Got a HEI. I have a locked out HEI, and as you see right here, I got the #1 post marked on the housing. This distributor is locked out. And the reason I locked out this distributor is, if you look at the specs on this engine, it actually calls for 32 degrees timing. So I set this engine up. I'm going to set this engine up on 32 degrees. I've already got it marked on the balancer. Right now it's on 0. So I'll spin that around to 32. Then you'll see that the rotor will line up with the mark I have on the housing. So let's see if I can do that with one hand without keeping my fingers in the way. Nope. Let me pause it. And then, actually, you know what? I'll put you up here. Let's do that. I think you can still see. Yep. So when I turn this balancer around to line up 32 degrees with the pointer. Pretty close. Okay, so it's locked out timing. The best way to drop the distributor in is find out what your total timing is that you want. In this case, it's 32 degrees. I put that 32 mark lined up with the 0 mark right there. That means that we're 32 degrees before top dead center. And as you see here, the rotor is lined up with the mark right here. Straight line. And again, our dots are at 12 and 12. So let's see if this will start. Here we go. Let me put the cap on. Got electric fuel pump. Here we go. There you go. Now then, what I was going to do is I was going to turn these dots both dot to dot like everybody else says on the internet. If I did that, it would move this rotor to the #6 cylinder because it would put #1 on the exhaust stroke or the valve overlap stroke, whatever you want to call it. So if I move that dot to dot, and then if I turn the distributor, 180, then clearly it'd be 180 degrees out. Anyway, I'm not going to pull that back off. Anyway, I just wanted to show both these dots at 12 o'clock, your #1 cylinder is on top dead center on the compression stroke. Dot to dot is the #1 on the exhaust stroke. So anyway, maybe that should clear stuff up. My next video is I'm going to put the water pump on this thing and I'm going to get it tuned and dialed in, and we're going to sell this thing. I mentioned in the first video I had a buyer for this. Apparently it wasn't a real buyer, and they changed their mind or whatever, but I have taken like a year. My first video I think I did last October, so it's only been a year. So I'm not surprised I don't have a buyer hanging around anymore. But I am selling this engine for a friend. I don't know how much yet. We'll figure it out. Anyway, there's that. Stand by for video number 4. Thanks.